Hey guys, it is Friday, and it has been a long time since you got a video. But I'll tell you, we did a little cleaning up. The Firebird has gone back to New York, so that's out of the way. The Suburban was delivered on Saturday, so that's out of the way. Now we got a little bit of space to work, able to kind of move things about, and that was a lot of our problem. There was just no place to work. I had two completely painted vehicles in here. It's hard to grind and do things like that near them. So they've gone home to their owners. So that gave us a little room to work. Got Big Bob's cab over. He has brought me the parts for the brakes, which I'll show you in a couple minutes. But funny story, we had the truck in here. Bob was bringing over the parts last week, and he drove his panel truck. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing yet, but it's a beautiful little panel truck. Bob is a retired pharmacist, so he kind of played off that with the apothecary. But really nice little truck. Anyway, he pulls up in the driveway and brought me in some parts, and we were kind of laughing about the little truck came to see his big brother. Well, apparently he didn't want to leave after he met his big brother. The transmission died right here in the driveway, so I got a new tranny coming for this, and we'll get this on its way. But so that's kind of the shop joke. He came to visit his brother and didn't want to leave. But so anyway, working on brakes for Bob's truck. Um, we're doing a right angle pedal assembly, and we're going to put the master cylinder, and we're using a Hydro Boost, which is going to go under the dash. So I'm trying to adapt this Hydro Boost unit to this pedal assembly. So I got to make a couple of brackets, and the hymen that goes on here is a little bit different thread. So I have to play with that. But that's going to be a pretty neat setup, and it'll fit right up under the dash where you won't even see it. So it should be pretty neat. Barracuda. This vehicle came to me from another shop, which came to them from another shop. So unfortunately, parts have disappeared along the way, and we were just trying to put the rear suspension together, and found out that we were missing the rear spring hangers, and parts are just not available for this. So I went ahead and fabricated the rear spring hangers, and we got those all painted and put in there. So the springs are all in now, the leaf springs. So the rear suspension is pretty much set up. I got in a couple of brake lines for the rear for the calipers and the plates and U-bolts. So that's ready to go in. Now the rear end, I went ahead and welded on spring perches because this was a 3-link setup when he got it. Put in all the hangers for the brake lines, the tabs for the rubber lines to go into the steel. And he wanted this to look like raw metal. So all the suspension is going to look like raw metal. A lot of the stuff in the front, we just put a DTM, which is direct to metal clear. We went ahead and got that all clear coated. So this, what I did was sprayed it with a little bit of silver, dusted a little black over it, and then put the DTM, and it kind of distresses it a little bit. It gives it that appearance of raw metal. So got the center section being painted right now, and then we'll get that put together, and the rear I'll be completely, actually should have the car on the ground again rolling by next week. And then I'm going to start working on the motor and transmission. We'll go ahead and get the torque converter in and the motor and tranny mated together, get that all painted and cleaned up and ready to drop in the hole. So making some good progress there. And Brian Wolf came over and brought me over a bunch of parts for the Camaro. And we ended up making a little change. The dash was red, and he decided to go with a satin black. So I had to pull the column back out and get that painted. So the column's all satin black. We did get the dash all sanded out and painted up. So that is all pretty much wrapped up. We got that painted today. So now it is a satin black finish, which is what he was looking for. So that gets him going there. So that allows me to go ahead and start working on the motor. And actually, I'm going to probably do brake lines next. This is going to get all stainless steel brake lines. and we'll get the steering shafts in, and then we'll work on getting the motor in. But we should be making some pretty good progress on that because, simply put, we got a bunch of parts now. Now that we have the space, we got the remainder of the parts for the Camaro out, and Junior's have been blocking these out, getting them all ready for paint. The body itself, there were a couple little nicks in the quarters. We went ahead and wet sanded that out, got it all ready. I'm going to respray the quarters and re-clear them. So both quarters are all prepped out. They're ready to go. Just want to get the rest of these parts ready, and then we'll get that painted, and then that will be leaving as well. So we're making some big progress. Basically, what I was looking for was some space. You can't do this stuff without space. You got to have some room. So now we got a little bit of space. We got a lot going on. But I should start seeing a bunch of big progress, and I'm going to try to spend a little more time doing the videos, a little more education on each piece. So hopefully that'll help you guys out a little bit. So we'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. We'll see you.